All right, welcome back to another episode of Talk Nerdy to Me. I am your host, Troy Stegner, and I have a very special guest on the line with me here. Kyle Phillips. You guys probably know him mostly from the voice of Denki Kaminari, My Hero Academia.
Right on.
Cool. So just to start with, Kyle, I'm checked out your IMDb page, of course. I want to make sure I was up to speed on everything. And you're one of the few people I've noticed that not only do you have an actors tab, you also have a sound department tab and a producers tab. You want to tell us about that?
I do. Well, first, I have to air my grievances with IMDb because someone at some point put on there that I was born in LA in 1978, I believe, or 1976. Both of those are not true. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, and I am 32. I was born in 1987.
How dare they?
But I know, and so it's so funny because anyone can put up whatever stat they want, but when I'm like, this is me, I need to change it, and they're like, no, we don't believe you. Then it's a whole big hassle. But so I haven't gotten it changed yet, but it is a funny conversation piece. So sound department tab and producer tab. So, I started in the audio industry way back in 2005. And, in my head, I'm a behind the scenes guy. I looked up to directors, producers of music. So I was like, I'm a behind the scenes guy. That's what I want to be. So I went to a technical school for audio recording. And started in the industry just being an audio engineer. And then one day while I was working at a studio downtown called Dallas Audio Post, I met Chris Sabat. He was recording like a Doritos commercial or something, and he was like, "Hey, you're pretty good. You should work at Funimation. It's just it's over in North Richland Hills at the time." And I was like, "Sounds like fun." Started at Funimation in 2008. And I immediately got behind the booth. Behind the mic. It looked fun. My very first credited role ever is in a show called Triple X Holic. In episode, I believe 24, I was Big Monster, and I just go blah, blah, and I was like, that's fun. And so just kind of over time, I just kind of slowly did that more and more. Meanwhile, so the sound department is me being an ADR engineer at Funimation. And then, I would do some other, I do ADR script prep. I wrote a couple episodes of a show called Dragonaut. I just got more and more involved in, the whole dubbing process, kind of front to back. Eventually working my way up to director in 2015. Full-time 2015, and then so now I have assistant directors under me, and the producer credit is actually kind of an antiquated term. We don't really have producers anymore, but for the couple of shows where it still kind of existed, I was a producer over another director's show. So I've done a lot with Funimation specifically, but overall in the industry.
Okay, for people who don't know what ADR is, can you give them a little background on what an ADR engineer actually does?
So ADR stands for Automated Dialogue Replacement. And so, in a movie, if there was a scene done and it was particularly windy that day, or maybe just the actor covered up their mouth too much or something like that, they'll go back in and they'll ADR those lines. And so that's just, they'll bring in the actor, or sometimes if they can't afford the actor or the actor would be too much, they'll bring in a sound alike and replace those lines. And so you've certainly heard bad ADR, like if you're watching a show or a movie or something, and the sound quality is one thing. Like if it's an outdoor scene, definitely sounds like they're outside, and all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, we gotta go," and then you hear them be like, "Yeah, hurry, we gotta go get them." And it sounds like it's super the studio. That's bad ADR. And so at Funimation or any dubbing house for anime, literally everything we do is ADR, because we're taking out all the Japanese dialogue and replacing it with English dialogue. So literally everything we do is ADR.
So you have the added job of trying to do the mouth flaps, matching them up and everything.
Yeah, and that's kind of where that's other than Dragon Ball Z, of course. That's kind of what set Funimation apart, because before Funimation came around, like the infamous Speed Racer flaps, oh look out, haha, like just kind of filling flaps with nonsense or just not even caring at all about fitting flaps. Funimation came around and we said, we're going to make sure this looks, not only sounds good, but looks good. We want it to be a seamless experience. And so, yeah, Funimation kind of was the pioneer in matching flaps. So, of course, in order to match flaps, you have to have script adapters who take the translation and make it fit the flaps. And then there's a whole art behind that. And so, yeah.
Yeah, ADR engineers are really the unsung heroes. They can make or break the anime if they don't do a good job.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like to use if the ADR director is Luffy, and the cargo of the Going Merry is the voice actor's voice, the ADR engineer is everyone else and the ship. That's how important they are. They definitely are the unsung heroes for sure.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. So how did you make the jump from ADR engineer to actually voicing characters?
I get asked a lot, like how do I get into voice acting? And I used to kind of have my canned response, but the reality is it's kind of like there's so many different ways to get into it. And so I just started using my example, which is I just was around it 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And so, there'd be times where a director would say like, oh, I forgot to get this bit, or I need this guy, or I need something for this like 30 minutes or whatever. And I just started being like, can I try? And they'd be like, sure. Worst case scenario, I replace it. And so I just kind of would jump in and be like, hey, look out, and I just kind of started doing that more and more, and then I had just the best training specifically for dubbing, which is just watching other actors all day, every day do it. And so that's just kind of how I got in, and I started doing it more and more. And then here I am.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. How much being an ADR engineer actually helped you with your voice acting?
In general, like, so when you're an ADR engineer, you develop an eye for flaps, and so like where other actors will be like, wait, so I need to come in here, or like, wait, what part was early, or what part was long, or like I don't have problems with that at all. Like I'll record a line and I'm not gonna be like, oh wait, no, you don't have to say anything. I know exactly what to do. I'll let the director and the engineers do their job, but I know like, okay, I know surely I need to be slower here. I came in a little early here. Like all the technical sides of dubbing anime, I have a leg up on because I was an ADR engineer.
Great. And I've seen recently you're taking over some voice director duties. Is that the next level? I mean, what exactly does a voice director do?
So when I was an ADR engineer for Tyler Walker, he was a longtime director at Funimation. Now he's a full-time writer. We were working together on most of Fairy Tail, and that's when, in kind of the same way of when I got into voice acting, I'm like, hey, let me try this, let me hop in there and do that. As I started getting more interested in directing, I would be like, hey, you've got to do these reviews rather than cancel these sessions or not book anything here. How about you book some easy stuff, or like the lead characters, Todd and Jeremy, they know the characters so well, so maybe that'll be a easier session to trust a new person on. But let me give a shot on directing, and then you can review it, and let me know what you think, And so I just kind of started doing that more and more. Eventually I became like a hybrid position. I would ADR engineer half the time, about 20 hours a week, and then I would be an assistant director for Tyler about 20 hours a week, working on his shows. And then eventually in 2015, I made the full-time switch to voice directing when I started Ultimate Otaku Teacher, my first solo show. So I've been doing that for about, so actually so that we're in the winter season now. So in the spring season, it'll be 5 years since I've started full-time directing.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I see you also like the games here, the like RPG. I think you're on Christopher's dungeon booth. So you play a lot of D&D?
I don't play a lot. I played a lot like after high school. A good friend of mine, he is really into it, so we would do a lot of campaigns together. But kind of once I started working a lot more, and just kind of lost time for it. So I was actually really excited when Chris invited me to, be a guest or be a character in his first game, and I was like, yes, let's do it. And so I've in the voice of, I am Thok, the half-orc monk, and the way Chris does it, I assume everyone knows what Critical Role is. And Critical Role is great, and it's the long-running campaign style, kind of classic D&D, where you follow the same characters for a long, long time. What Chris is doing with the Dungeon Booth is kind of a supplement to that, where it's each session is kind of a one-off campaign. So I was in the first game, and then my character came back for game 4. Game 4? Yeah, game 4, which is yet to be released, I believe.
So what's your favorite race and class to play?
It depends. Like, kind of whenever I play like any kind of RPG, or if it's a video game or a tabletop thing, if I had to pick one kind of class for the rest of time, it would be probably some kind of rogue type, some kind of thief type. I like Robin Hood is one of my favorite kind of mythical characters. I really gravitate towards the chaotic good characters. So definitely that. As far as race, like one of my favorite RPG style games ever is the third Elder Scrolls game, Morrowind, and the Wood Elf was very well suited for the kind of roguish type. So I really like kind of the nimble Wood Elf type, that can sneak around and stuff. So plus being immortal would be cool. So if I had to pick one, it'd be some kind of sneaky elf for the rest of the time. But that said, I really enjoy playing Magic the Gathering, and I really tend to gravitate towards red, which is kind of chaos, which is a lot of fast creature kind of stuff. And so I like just the bash you in the face, no subtlety kind of approach as well. So actually, I want to say when we first were making characters, like he kind of was like, Chris was like, give me like a top 3 of kind of what you'd want to play. And I want to say my top was actually a dwarven barbarian, but it ended up being Jill Harris, I believe. She ended up taking that thing kind of roll on. So I went with the half-orc monk, and I totally intended to have Thok to be actually a very serious character, but he ended up being more like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. I believe we have a hashtag. We have a hashtag. Thok it up. That goes whenever we play a game.
Yeah, as much as I played, I don't think I've ever encountered a half-orc monk.
And so that is kind of, I like to play that way, where I like to do, not the unexpected, but I like to be kind of like, the human paladin. Like, I will probably never play that. That just seems so boring to me. It's like, yeah, cool. That's been done 1,000 times. What hasn't been done?
A gnome barbarian.
Yeah, a gnome barbarian. Actually, that's what Jill Harris in game 1. She's a gnome barbarian. Or maybe it's a berserker. I don't know. But yeah, like just that very different kind of what should be like a clashing idea. I like to fully embrace those.
Okay, you've done. I mean, looking at your IMDb page, there's tons and tons of the very popular animes that you've worked on. But if you had the opportunity to work on any other movie, TV show, anime series that you haven't, whatever, what would you pick? Which license would you want to work with?
Ooh. That is a good question. I'm really into, like, if something has pirates in it, I'm probably going to like it. There's a show on Stars called Black Sails that I'm really into. It's, for those who don't even know what that is, it's basically like, it's 10 years, maybe 20 years before Treasure Island takes place. So it follows Captain Flint as he gets the Spanish gold and all that stuff. And it's kind of like Game of Thrones, but with all pirates in the Caribbean, you know? So probably that, to be honest. But like Black Flag? The Assassin's Creed 4, like, I love, that's my favorite Assassin's Creed. You know, I love One Piece, obviously. So anything with pirates in it is probably, I'd be down for that.
Good. If Pirates of the Caribbean's listening, there you go.
I will say, I'll ruin my chances right now, though. I watched the most recent one, I believe it was the 5th one with Javier Bardem as the main villain, and my wife lasted about 10 minutes, and then I sat there and watched that whole stinking movie, and man, was it not good. But I was like, it's Pirates of the Caribbean, it's Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, I'm going to watch it. And man, that was not a good movie.
Yeah, they have jumped the shark.
Yeah, but hey, maybe they'll write the ship for the next one.
Hey, all they need is you.
That's right.
Okay, I've saved the hard-hitting question here for the end. I've asked this for just about everybody I've interviewed, and I get differing answers from each person. So I'm gonna pose this question to you and see where you stand on this issue.
All right.
All right. The question is, cake or pie?
Ooh, depends. I really like cookie cake. I really like ice cream cake. And of course, I love normal cake, but and I'm really into chocolate, so I really love like good chocolate cake, like German chocolate cake. But it's really hard to beat a really well-made apple pie. So there's my vague answer.
So you're undecided.
I'm gonna say pie. If I had to pick, I think I'm gonna pick pie.
Team pie. There it is. That's been the overwhelming answer. Most people are picking pie. So you're in.
Really?
Yeah, you're in the majority.
Okay. Cool.
All right, Kyle. That's really all the questions I had for you. We're really looking forward to seeing you here at El Paso Comic-Con in April. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. Denki's a very, very popular character, and you are the one who brings him to life. So people are really excited to see you among your other characters. I mean, there's the IMDb page is a mile long, so yeah, people are really excited to see you.
Actually, so yeah, I'm really excited to go to El Paso. I've never been to El Paso. I've been asking around, like everyone I know that knows the area, like where I need to eat, what I need to do. Yeah, Denki, playing Denki is great. I'm excited to meet all the Denki fans, all the My Hero fans. Bring me your Pikachus so I can sign them. But actually, I think it was literally just announced on Funimation's Twitter, but if anyone is a fan of Infinite Dendrogram, a new show that we're simuldubbing, I am the lead character, Ray Starling, in that.
Oh, congratulations.
So, thank you. And that was like literally, I think I just saw it pop up on my feed. So
now you're clear to promote it.
That's right. You're the first person I've told that to. So.
Hey, breaking news.
Breaking news.
Are there any other things you're working on that you can talk about that are coming up here soon in the future?
Well, I'm directing 2 shows this season. One, I'm not going to be able to talk about for a long time, just because of the nature of how early we're recording it. The other one, let's see, when is this interview going up?
Probably next couple of days.
Okay, so my next show that I'm directing is going up tomorrow, and so it hasn't been announced yet, but I'm directing a show called Hatena Illusion. It's a fun kind of slice of life kids magic show, but it's a good one, and so that'll be announced tomorrow, if not today. And then other than that, I've got something more fun, more what's what I'm looking for? Independent, not independent. Unique. More me, more separate from anime. I've got something coming out hopefully soon, but I don't want to talk about it yet because it's still in the relatively early stages. But keep an eye on my Twitter for when I finally announce that. Other than that, I think that's kind of it for me for now.
That's enough. That's quite a bit on your plate.
Yeah, but I've also got, I'm Wakashika in Id Invaded, Jeremy Inman's show that he's directing. We're about on episode 4 right now, for those who like fun or cool sci-fi crime thrillers. I want to say, and I can't remember the exact title of the show, but the Sherlock case file number 221, I believe. Having a blast with that. Kobayashi, I'm like the former gangster in that. My big episode is episode 6, but I'm all over the show. So if you like kind of more crime or comedy crime-based stuff, you can listen to me in that. But yeah, Infinite Dendrogram, very excited for that. And that first episode is a lot of me. So if you like my voice as Denki Kaminari, then give that a listen.
And a lot of people do, so I'm sure that show's going to be popular as well.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to talk to us here, and it's been a real pleasure. And like I said, we are looking forward to seeing you in April.
Yeah, thanks for having me. April's going to be awesome. I'm very excited.
As are we.
Get nerdy with me. Tell me what game that you get on. Is it card or read? What kind of class do you play, girl? In an RPG.